I remember being called in from the drum of Marcella, basically saying it was time for all of the women who were on this particular retreat to come from where you were praying with ever on the we were in the top of the Andes, the Andes Mountains. And I came in rather quickly. I came in first before some of the other women came in. And she was talking to another woman, and she was like, "Oh, my friend wants me to go to Africa, but I don't feel called to go to Africa. Do you want to go?" And the friend of hers, her name was Lorraine at the time, she was like, "I'm from a third world country. I don't feel the need to go. But I know Enolia wants to go." And this was 5 minutes after I said this prayer. 5 minutes. And I was like, I'm supposed to go. So she's like, "Enolia, do you want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, I would love to go." She said, "Well, I'll tell my friend that you want to go, and let's see if she's open for you taking my place." And little did I know that what her friend had proposed was 100-mile walk across Kenya, the East and West Savo parks of Kenya. And it was a walking safari. And you would be walking 10 miles a day for 10 days on the motherland, in nature, with everything. And so I went. But here's the kicker, okay? I had no idea where I was from on the motherland. I had no idea, my lineage. Who are my people? So I took a DNA test. And when I got the results of that DNA test, it said that my mother was from Kenya and that my father was Nigerian, and my mother's people were the Luya tribe of Kenya. And here I was about to walk 100 miles across Kenya. And when I walked those 100 miles, and when I really engaged in what the motherland had to teach me, when I came back to my corporate job, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it. That was it. That was it. The mother had called me, and I was answering. And it was quite shortly after that safari that I parted my way from my corporate job. Actually, it was 1 week. I couldn't sit. I sat for 1 week, and it was long enough to be able to give my resignation, and I was it.
All right. Now, we are moving there now from the corporate world to where you currently are now in Africa. Of course, you are not out of business. You are still in business. Of course, we are still going to be looking at some of the strategy of your business and even your coaching. Those that are listening to us, you should understand that in your Niola is also doing business. She does coaching. So she's going to explain to us what type of coaching she does and how that one can be beneficial to you. But before we get there, just now, I'm trying to understand that moment that you are deciding to leave your job to this new way of being that you have found.
Hmm.
What what did you feel? I'm trying to understand the feeling. That is the important part for me.
The feeling was is that the fear left. Okay, so remember that I did a walking safari. So that means that we had the Maasai guarding us. And basically, we walked the land among everything. And the fact that I could get 20 feet away from a pod of lion, that I'm walking with the elephants and I'm only 30 feet away, that I could see a panther take down a crocodile and watch it die at 10 feet away. I could walk by a pod of hippopotamuses, okay, and as they're playing, quietly move by. I realized that the the synergy, the fact that we're all one, and then all of the fears that we have in life, afraid to take the leap, feeling that it has to be here, it has to be the job, it has to be this, has to be that, it has to look like this. It was the fact that I could change that. I could dare to step into something that I wanted to do that was my love versus I was expected to do because I was groomed and because I was changed. And that helped the fundamental transition of really coming from this structured corporate world to daring to have the strength and the courage to move on to establishing what it is I love. I love people. That's what I loved. And when I left, I called 12 of my friends and I basically said, I really have this thing about empowerment. I want to share what I learned. I want to share what I learned from an indigenous perspective, from the way that we celebrate self, because we have never gone through celebration of self. We don't have rites of passage. We don't have uh, uh, things that just stop and emphasize the fact that it's great to be a woman at this time. It's great to be a man at this time. And it's great to have gone through this ritual that emphasizes the fact that you are valuable. What you bring to the table is of value and is needed and is wanted. And so let's celebrate self. And let's find your inner strength and your inner courage through those tests prior to celebrating yourself. And let's bring those forward so that you can see yourself how much value you are. And I wanted to embody this and share this. And I wanted to share this from a perspective not from what is the standard. We already know what the sense of entitlement is. We have it all around us. It's called life. But what was lost and what was to me a filler for me was learning these indigenous ways that brought a perspective, that brought a different viewpoint, that brought a different value and engagement. And it was just as rich, even more so than what I had learned standardly. How to look at yourself and look in the mirror and love what you see and understand that you fit in to the bigger picture in a way that is so beautiful, that doesn't have to be controlling, that doesn't have to slaughter that which is because we're on the top of the food chain, that we can live in harmony with the same animals that we fear. This was invaluable information.
All right.
This was invaluable.
All right. Now, you were born in New York, where, according to your explanation, is the land where you just grab and grab and grab. Of course, that is the center of America consumerism that
Yes.
that have infested the whole of the world. We know that. Okay, now you managed to find yourself home after many generations. Home, I mean, home for the real sense of it in Africa. I understand that in Africa there are still war, that there are people dying sometimes or some disease that could be cured, really. But this is home, the home of all of us.
Yes.
So I'm really interested in knowing how you feel at home. No longer in New York now, you are in Africa. This is where you are talking to me from right now.
That's right,
How do you
right now.
feel? How do you feel at home?
I feel fulfilled. I feel like I am home. I look around and I see the beauty of the people. I see the beauty in them that they don't even see in themselves sometimes. There's I see the beauty of the land. There's something about the land, and that as I walk the land, I just know that I'm home. I just feel the balance of that land. I feel the calling from that land. I feel the calling from those waters, and I'm at home. When I go to the beach, when I see the people engaging, I see a reflection of me, and I'm at home.
That's enough there, because this is powerful. Home is home. No matter where you go, in our place, they say you go east, you go west, home is home.
Home.
Sweet home.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you are not just home, but you're also doing something at home. You are in business, you are an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I want to believe that you are still in business. So tell me, what do you do in business now in Africa?
Right now, I wear a few different hats, and so what I do is I do empowerment. I do empowerment workshops. I do them all over the world, actually. And I have recently just finished a couple of runs in Patriota here in Angola. And what I do is I inspire from within. And I've been working with female entrepreneurs and inspiring them for the work that they can do and bring to bear, helping them move through the challenges of what blocks them from really just acquiring their vision. I've learned how to work with people to build them from the ground up. Some people are already successful, but they still have that missing piece within their heart that just makes them full, makes them the best version of themselves. And I just help guide that person to address those fears or those traumas that have hurt them in the past, that have been really blocking them to really feel that completeness as to what they're doing. So that is one of the main things that I do here, and I've been doing that all over Angola. So I've done it from Luanda all the way south, as far south as Lubango and Benguela, and east into Melange. So those are the aspects of working in terms of empowerment. And I also am the CEO of Expressions of Humanity Foundation, because as I've traversed the world and as I've been through the travels, there are projects and people you want to be able to help, and I'm able to help through that foundation. So it's been really, really wonderful. And a couple of projects that I'm working on right now, basically affords us the opportunity to help disadvantaged communities in terms of some of their needs here and other places. So in terms of waterways, in terms of water retainage systems, and things of that nature. So working on various projects like that also. So I have quite a few different things. Another one is bringing educational software that really allows people to study um, um, at home or in school. They can be present or not present, and trying to penetrate the Ministry of Education in order to take a look at some of this innovative technology that can help them so that we're not so far behind. But then, you face other problems like infrastructure and so on and so forth. So, you take it a little bit at a time, and you do the best in presenting what you can, when you can, and where you can.
Have you also visited the other part? Because you say your mother was from Kenya in your research, and your father was in Nigeria, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Have you also visited Nigeria?
No, I have not. I would love to visit Nigeria. I have not had the good fortune of visiting Nigeria. I'm making my rounds around Africa. I've had the opportunity to spend some time in Namibia, in South Africa. I'm here in Angola. I've spent some time in Morocco, Egypt, Senegal, Cape Verde. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is beautiful.